All right, welcome to Curious Minds. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another amazing matchup. This time I'm energized. Hour 4 of the casting marathon. I am TitanOnFire. And in the bottom right, it is Liquid's Clem. And in the top left, these guys have a storied history. Of course, it is Clash's Reynor. I have found this random observer, and we're gonna stick with them. Hope they're good. We'll see. Of course, you know, I like my observing, but it's not for everybody. But yeah, Clem and Reynor, oh my, they go back so often. They have played so many times. Like, honestly, I don't know if it's even worth looking up the Illigalac for it. Because, like, I can tell you how it's been recently, because luckily for me, when it comes to like casting this series, I have been lucky enough to cast a lot of the recent Reynor Clem series that have happened in tournaments from replays. So I've gotten to actually cover quite a few of them. And what was that sound? Oh, wait a second. This makes sound. That's so cool. That's so cool. Anyway, I've gotten to cast a lot of the recent Reynor Clem series, and in recent years, of course, Reynor has been kind of getting back into form. Or in recent years? No, in like recent month. In the recent month. There was a while where Reynor took a really long break after winning the World Championships, but now the World Championships are coming back around, and so you know what Reynor is doing? He is powering up. He is grinding. He's in London. Absolutely just wrecking everything, and he's getting really back into form, and it's great to see. He looks really, really solid, and I'm excited to see how he approaches this matchup against Clem, who's someone who, again, you know, the most recent times they faced 3-1, 3-0, 3-2, 2-1. Reynor has been winning them. Clem has, you know, and of course Clem has been struggling just a little bit in general with almost all of his matchups recently. And kind of is having a little bit of those growing pains that you see a lot of players go through when they're having to adapt their play and, you know, kind of adapt their style as, what? How much AP? How much? 7? 3? Dude, he's too good. He's too good. He must be stopped. But, you know, Clem has been having a bit of those growing pains. And I think he's still kind of going through them in a few cases. Definitely when you look at, you know, a player like Dark, who has kind of, every time they've faced, completely stomped Clem. You know, Clem is still not really, I think, not really adept versus the Korean playstyle. And that's something where Reynor and Cyril, who've been around for, you know, a lot longer at the top level, do have a lot more practice and a lot more skill at navigating is in those matchups versus the Korean players. But when it comes to facing someone from his own region, man, Clem's good. Clem is the best European Terran for a reason. You know, he's so talented. And interestingly enough, we are going to be seeing him go for a bit of this, a bit of what I like to call this kind of delayed 2-1-1 kind of fast 3rd CC build, where you're just going to go for a regular 1 gas, fast 3rd CC. Instead of going immediately into your starport, you get a second barracks. Start your stim on the first one, and then add in a starport when it's done. And so it pretty much hits around, it hits like a 2. So 2 medevacs, you know, 14 to 16 Marines. But it is going to be very delayed. You'll usually be moving out, or you'll be moving out around 6 minutes is when you'll be getting across the map. 6 to 6:30 is when you'll be getting across the map. And so it's not as strong of a timing attack, but Clem transitions it really well. And I just cast a series of him versus Solar where he did it very, very well in one game. And it's always the, you know, for Clem, it's always the third base transition. For Clem, it's always that kind of follow-up that he's so good about in constantly just applying the pressure. And interestingly enough, we do actually have an armory on the way, so it will be with some Hellbats. This is, especially a player like Beyond, I've seen Bjorn use a lot of like these kind of 4 Hellbats, 16 Stim Marine timing attacks, and they work decently well. Usually they're able to get a little bit of damage, but of course they always run into the same issue that most Hellbat attacks have, in just that Queens and Banelings completely counter them. Completely and utterly. And most Zergs, as long as they scout out, will have those things up by the time the attack comes. And especially with a build like this, one of my big issues is that usually a Zerg will be getting up a decent Queen count and a decent Ling count to deal with a 2-1-1. Or this kind of delayed 2-1-1 that Clem is going for. And so Reynor's gonna have all the tools that he already needs to deal with the Hellbats being added in. And so it's not really gonna be like, there's not gonna be anything that Reynor really needs to add aside from the Banelings, and he can just morph those in, delay time with his Queens. And that's really kind of my one issue here for Clem, as he is going to be stimming on up. I'm checking, of course, to see if there is a 4th base in that location, but it is actually the opposite. Is Queen's going to be fighting. One Queen will go down. The Banelings aren't being pulled just yet. Transfuse is going down, though. And honestly, the Banelings didn't even need to be pulled. There's just enough Queens here to push back the Hellbats. Clem now getting on into his 3rd base. Reynor. Oh, I've been so annoying here with these counterattacks. And this is what I really love about Reynor's play style, is he's just constant. You know, when Reynor is on form, he is just constant with these little Ling counterattacks to try and find damage. You know, kind of like Serral in his prime. Where Serral, I mean, even Serral now is still very, very good without it, but Serral would just constantly throw Ling run-bys. Whenever you tried to be out on the map, tried to be aggressive, if you had 4 bases up, you sure as hell know there is a Ling counterattack coming for one of those bases. And it was just so annoying to deal with. Oh, Clem. Clem, come on. Come on. That's just... I mean, you saw it queued up there, so... I mean, obviously, there wasn't too much micro that had to go into it for Clem, but it's still a very nice move to see that Reynor isn't quite paying attention there, so just queues up the target fire onto the Banelings, and still even manages to get 2 more on the stutter step. And behind us, the 1-1 for Clem will be finishing up. Reynor currently has the 1-1 of his own, but it is a little bit delayed, and this is an issue that I've seen other Zergs have against Clem, where, you know, they're focusing a lot on the early pressure, on defending, and you actually end up delaying your 1-1 just by not starting up as soon as you can. Because usually with Ling Bane, you want to be on equal upgrades to the Terran, and these are going to be fairly equal, actually, I think. Only about like a 5-10 second delay is... Yeah, there we go. You do want to be even on upgrades, and you can be. With Ling Bane, your upgrades are very synchronous with the bio, just because you're not spending a lot of gas on other things. You're spending gas on pretty much Banelings. And that's about it, as we do have Clem stimming on in here to try and clear up some creep. Is really just going to kind of pull back and not want to commit too hard because, well, Reynor has a lot. Reynor has not really been forced to, you know, sacrifice a lot of economy. Reynor is sitting very comfortably on 70 workers, or 73 workers, and right now is on 5 bases. So, you know, it's really dangerous for Clem to just kind of power push in, but you can just do this. Constantly clean up creep, push your Marines forward, inch your tanks forward, and just try and, you know, stop the Zerg from really acquiring more real estate space on the map. And this is absolutely how you should be handling it with the Queens, or with the tanks super far back, and you know, a few Marines forward, but another group behind to defend. And it's the right call because, of course, you do see Reynor has this counterattack or this surround that is already kind of prepared in case Clem does commit too far forward. The Hive is on the way, +2/+2 for both these players. We'll be finishing up around the same time, and that's a very quick lurker den. I do like it. You know, kind of reminds me of the timing for like Rogue. Rogue will go for that very quick lurker den to get the upgrades up, and then when he has the gas and when he has the time, he'll suddenly explode up to, you know, 13, 16 lurkers. As here we go. Reynor gonna pull the trigger on the counterattack, sees that Clem is now pushing super far forward. And this is what makes Reynor so dangerous, is he just knows these timings. He says, listen, I know you're pushing, so I'm just gonna go, you know? you're not going to have a lot at home. Banelings are going to roll on in. The mineral line is exposed, and there we go. Kaboom! 21 workers go down. It was a little bit delayed as Reynor tried to get the most value possible. 26 workers in total. Completely stops the push as Clem has to pull on back. And that means that gives Reynor time to rebuild Banelings, to build more Zerglings to replace the ones that he just lost. And you're now sitting at an 83 worker Zerg to the 51 SCVs of Clem. Clem does have his +2, weapons finishing up. But melee attacks is done for the Lings. Carapace is going to be done at the same time as the armor upgrade. And you already have, adaptive talons on the way. Seismic spines will follow. You already have these upgrades coming through for Reynor for the Lurkers, which is the next stage of the game. And Clem is still working with Marine Marauder Mine. And of course, Clem can do magic with Marine Marauder Mine. And when he adds in Ghost to this Bioforce, he can still make it work. But especially against Reynor, sometimes what you'll end up seeing against Reynor, what you'll see from Clem, is that he kind of gets stuck on it. He doesn't really transition because he's trying to make it work. It's the same issue that Bjorn has. Has some very nice pullbacks there. You do have a single or two Lurkers here that are available for, or three actually, available for Reynor to just stop this push from really going forward, especially when you have so many Marines. You can't attack into these Lurkers. Because Reynor's just trying to find an angle. He's trying to kind of fish around and see if there's a spot that he can push in. Widowmine's gonna burrow. Still, the Baneling hits are pretty decent. No, Clem has to be so careful here. +3 Carapace, +1 ranged attacks. Reynor on top of the upgrade path. This is usually what you'll end up seeing when you are going for Lingbane into the Lurkers. Is Speed Widowmines. Unfortunately, don't get a lot of workers. The pulls were really good from Reynor. So here we go, Army trying to come in at the front. Clem pulls back. Just in time. As you have a face-off. But Clem has gotten his 4th base up behind this. It's finally started on Ghosts, which is good. Seismic Spines, though, is already on the way, and there's only, 2 Ghosts out. One of the issues that, Clem can have sometimes is, again, I talk about some of the issues that Clem can have, and this is only, a very small sample size of times that he does end up not doing it, is where he doesn't get into his Ghosts fast enough, and we might see that here just because you have Lingbane committing on in. Lurkers are here as well. Clem trying to fight it, but more Lurkers are going to come on through. And you don't have enough Ghosts up just yet. They're just the 2. And with 6 Lurkers now on top of your 3rd base, that is just not enough. It's approaching a 30 supply lead now for Reynor. Well, Snipes finally going down. Does manage to get 2 of the Lurkers and tank. Or a tank, not 2. Gonna be pushed forward to help deal with this. Oh, these Snipes, so good from Clem. I mean, even just sitting with, it's just 4 Ghosts right there. Manages to push this back, but more Lurkers gonna be produced. More Hydralisks behind this. I mean, what is Clem really doing? He has these 2 Widowmines that are still here, but they aren't able to do altogether that much. These Lurkers have to be careful. Losing a few of them on the retreat does hurt for Reynor. Oh, this base isn't going up. That's a very quick cancel. Oh, hey, Widowmine's gonna find some damage. Oh my, quite a bit of damage. And for Reynor, I mean, right now, what's the play? You're almost maxed out. What are you gonna do? I mean, more Lurkers on the way. Lingbane gonna try and roll on in now. Widowmine, oh, great dodge, another great dodge. Oh, Reynor's so good, he's so good. A single lurker is just being annoying from this high ground. Of course, it's also a tank position that Terrans can take use of. As, oh wow, that does a lot of damage. And oh, Reynor, he's going for the front. He says, you don't have enough defenses here, and he honestly might be right. As he commits on in, I mean, does get cleaned up on one side. And now snipes come through, but the mineral line is down. 26 workers have fallen. Reynor has to back up, but still has a massive bank to work with. I mean, as Clem is pretty much on one mining base right now. It's finally gotten that, gotten the orbital re-landed. But does not feel like there's a lot going the way of Clem right now. 190 supply for Reynor. Mine drags. Ooh, does well against the other ones as well. These splits have been immaculate with the Lings. As Reynor, I mean, this is the last army for Clem. The Ghosts are doing so well against the Ling Bane. I mean, Ghosts, they do so much damage against light units, especially when you are working with +3 attack. These Ghosts absolutely shred Zerglings and Banelings, and they're pretty tanky, honestly. 100 health as snipes go down, 2 lurkers fall, more Lings going on in. Parasitic bombs onto the medevacs. As Reynor's closing in, Clem, he's trying his hardest to fight this, but I just don't think he can make it happen. Oh, that medevac goes down. The other one's gonna be trapped. Reynor gonna get rid of the rest of the army. And Clem, he's trying to push to the other side. The Queens are here though. EMPs go down, but honestly, it doesn't even hit that much energy on the Queens. Now Lings are just gonna stream across. Queens are gonna help. It's, I mean, only +1 attack for these Queens, but it doesn't matter. It's +3 Zerglings. Going for this around. Trying to get on top of this entire army. They should be able to find it. More Ghosts fall. Reynor now sitting at 6 bases, getting a 7th as well. Although that one does not seem like it's going to last very long at all. This one Widowmine has gotten, I mean, only 4 kills, but it's been here for a while, I think. Or this might be a new Widowmine. I think it's replaced the other Widow Mines that were there. It took over the post. Ooh, big Widow Mine hit. I don't think it really matters, though. Quite unfortunately, as Clem, I've been trying to micro this the best he can, but the lurkers are just so annoying. Snipes going down, trying to bait out the lurker shots so he can have time to get a snipe, but Clem, I mean, sub 100 supply to the almost maxed out Reynor is unfortunate. Just a very, very slow death that is going to happen here. And I mean, really, Reynor should just F2A move. He absolutely has enough to do so. No questions asked. Clem's gonna try his hardest. Fortunately, that medevac is running straight on into Queens. I mean, Reynor's even expanding to the space here. But he knows how far ahead he is. There we go. Zergling's gonna stroll on through. Lurkers are here. Doesn't matter how, I mean, well you trade. Everything is eventually going to fall. GG! Reynor takes game 1. And I mean, that last game was just Reynor. Late game macro monster. Constantly finding the timing attacks, or the counter attacks, and the kind of like little run-bys that would get the most damage, and that was the story of the game, really, was that. So I'd like to take this moment to remind all you folks at home, whether it be morning, night, evening, you know, maybe you're having lunch, watching some StarCraft 2, drink some water. Water. It's good for your body. Drink it. Stay hydrated. It's good to do. One of the biggest things that I learned when I started casting was that I do not hydrate enough. And so I started doing it, and suddenly everything was a whole lot easier. Moisture is a good thing. But that being said, I think we're just going to be getting on into this game. We've been watching this Overlord. We're going to name him Dave. This is Dave the Overlord. You see Dave here has 4 eyes. That's how you recognize him, actually. That he has 4 eyes on either side. Also, Dave, he has extra spikes. He's an extra spiky boy. But we'll keep an eye on Dave throughout this game. See how he's doing. We'll check in on him. Make sure he's having a good old time. Make sure that, he's just living his life. With his little sacks full of, I guess, gas. Is that what it is? I literally had this conversation with Kozan during our Beyond Cyril cast. Reaper goes on it. I mean, Clem's been really good with the Reaper control so far. Doesn't want to really risk it though. The Queen's already out. And it looks like it's fast 3rd CC again from Clem. Wow, would you look at that? Who's surprised? Not me. The past, what is it, 6 games now of Clem that I have cast have all been fast 3rd CC. I think, yeah, every one. Which is really funny. But of course it's a build that Clem's comfortable with. It's one that he's like, where he says, listen, I think I can defend well enough, even if I go the fast 3rd CC, so I'm not worried about dying early. And honestly, yeah, that's fair. That is completely fair. Reaper not able to get too much damage done. Just looking around, doing his thing. As sorry about that. I was thinking. We are going to see this opener. So, Clem, interestingly enough, one thing that I've noticed is that actually Clem has very specific openers for each map that he likes to do. And so, on this map, he doesn't actually go Banshees. He doesn't go Banshees on Hardwire. Instead, he goes for a Raven. And I've talked about it before. I do like the Raven in TVT, or in TVZ. I think it's very useful because you can then use all that scan energy that you'd normally use to clear up creep to get mules. And to just kind of further expand on, or to just macro up while you're also applying pressure. And Clem does it on Hardwire. So far I don't know any other map that he does it on. I've just seen him do it on Hardwire, because usually Clem's kind of 3 openers that he toys around with are all fast 3rd CC. It's fast 3rd CC into Cloaked Banshee with the Hellions and the Reaper. It is fast 3rd CC into the delayed kind of 2-1-1, or the 2 racks factory pressure. 2 racks factory Starfort pressure. Or it's this, which is kind of the same as the first opening, but you just get a Raven instead, and you use it to clear up creep to just kind of apply pressure and to get across the map. With that being said, Reynor has found a counterattack into the mineral line, kills 5 SCVs, kills a supply depot. That's some value. Clem also trying to push in the front, clear up creep tumors, get some damage onto Queens. Oh no, the Reaper and the Hellions stranded. Oh, that wall was beautiful. The wall of Queens. Not a wall you want to be stuck behind, or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't judge. You do you. Stim pack is on the way though for Clem. Is working with 3 racks right now. Should be adding on his 4th and his 5th, and then the 2nd factory pretty shortly. The Raven and the Hellions not getting too much value actually though. They've been able to push. They've been able to kind of poke around, but they weren't able to dive into any mineral lines. The creep really hasn't been slowed down all that much either. This has just been a very kind of standard game, and one where I feel like with this opening for Clem, you really are trying to get some damage done. As I do like the auto turret harass, gets 2 workers, is going to force a pull on that 3rd. At the same time, you do have Clem establishing his own 3rd base, of course, as the 4th and 5th barracks are on the way. That's interesting though. Where are Clem's upgrades? Wait a second. What? Clem, no! Where are your upgrades? There we go. Okay. I think he just had to delay them because he was a little bit mineral starved and had to add on the extra barracks because he lost those early 5, I guess the early 5 workers and then the worker pull as well. But he's gonna, that's a massive delay. Wait, how long is that? That's a minute. Reynor's gonna have a minute on +1/+1. That's insane. That, oh my, that is... I mean, I don't know if Reynor's gonna realize that because you usually expect Clem to be on top of his upgrade timing. But that's a massive difference. Clem's gonna be so far behind in just the efficiency of his units. Is of course still gonna push, but I don't think we're gonna see Clem really actually kind of, you know, push across the map. Especially knowing that he has to know that his 1-1 is delayed. We're probably gonna see harassment. You know, we're probably gonna see Clem, you know, try and harass and, you know, here and there try and do something. But I don't think we're ever really gonna see a concerted effort to push across the map with that upgrade, I mean, difference. Especially since the 2-2 has already started for Reynor, who's just on top of getting those upgrades up. Hydralisks are now in production, though, for Reynor. Doesn't split the best against these Widow Mines. Finally does. Oh, that was beautiful. Drags the other one with the Overseer. Manages to negate most of the damage. Clem is trying to stim on in with this small group of Marines, but that is going to be easily forced away. And right now, Reynor, sitting on 4 bases, fully saturated, actually, at 82 workers, is adding on a 5th. And Clem is finally caught up with 1-1, but now the real worry is, well, Reynor's working on 2-2, and that drop gets cleaned up. So no more kind of double-pronged pressure here from Clem. It's just going to be this push at the front. As Widow Mines, I mean, just getting dealt with beautifully. The surround comes through. The pickup has to come out. The Widow Mine shots are pretty good on the tail end of this. But now the Hydras are going to start to trade very, very well. Hellbats can't walk forward into them. Honestly, these Hellions, they've been around since the beginning of the game, man. They're just living life. Wait, did Dave die? No! No, Dave died! I didn't even look. Is this Dave? No, that's not Dave. I think Dave died. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Oh, turret harass gets 2 more drones. Push at the front once again. Banelings roll on through. Reynor doesn't actually take that good of a fight, but does have, of course, the Hydralisks to help with this. And they aren't +1 Hydras just yet, but they will be fairly shortly with the Groove Spines to give them that attack range upgrade. Already muscular augments, making them a bit more speedy. Slow Hydras are slow. They slither at a very, very sluggish pace. They need that muscular augments upgrade. Speaking of which, Hydralisks, very strange creature. Look at how they slither. Look at that. It's so weird. It's so weird. I have so many opinions about how Zerg units look, and they are completely unwarranted and unasked for, but I still have them. That drop does get cleaned up. 10 drones did go down. I assume that was to a Widow Mine drop. Yeah, it was, okay. I was gonna say, a Widow Mine drop at the 5th base does get 10 drones. Didn't even see it on the mini-map. To our Harving Clem. Continuing to push, cleaning up a lot of creep. I mean, Reynor only just now has his Lurker Den finishing up, so he's not really going to have access to those Lurkers for quite a while. As those drones get sent back to the mineral patches, told that they're not allowed to fight in the war. They're too weak. And their use is on the back lines. That's not really true. Drones can fight. I mean, drones turn into spine crawlers. You know, drones turn into buildings. They are very capable of fighting, I'd have to imagine. I think also, like, lore-wise, drones are very strong. If I'm not wrong. All Zerg units are very strong. But we're 11, almost 12 minutes into this game, and it doesn't look like either of these players are really, are really going to try and make, a game-ending fight anytime soon, as that's a bit annoying for Reynor. Overlords do go down, and that supply blocks him. The Adaptive Talons is almost done, so we should start to see those lurkers in production fairly shortly. The drop is picked up. Ooh, Vipers. Gotta be careful. The Youngs can come out, and just a few units being dropped. Ooh, a nice parasitic bomb. Oh, that's a very good parasitic bomb. Another one. Oh! Beautiful. Reynor manages to snipe all those medevacs. You do now have ghosts already out, though, for Clem, and this is great because, again, the big issue on Curious Minds was they didn't have ghosts fast enough to really deal with the lurkers. And so Reynor was able to find a really strong push. And so incredible damages. There we go. Snipes go down. Queen's getting extremely low. Adrenal Glands is going to be finishing up soon, but not quite done alongside that Carapace upgrade. The attack upgrade's not really here for the Zerg. Reynor, I mean, should be starting on them, though. Really, at this point in the game, you should be having your +2 range attacks or +3 melee, depending on if you want to go for the more lurker-based or a more Zerg Ling Bane-based army. And it does look like we're going to see the +3 melee attacks, so a lot more focus on that Ling Bane, which does make sense. When you already see ghosts out, the Ling Bane will just kind of be better at trading if you're able to get the collapse onto the army. And right now, I mean, Clem isn't really even building tanks either, so just using those ghosts is really the counter to, ooh, another abduct. Should be another one. Reynor doesn't end up using it, but only these ghosts are really going to be used to counter the lurkers, with 14 of which are on the way. That's the lurker count that we like to see. Drop is going to find its way on into the main base. Zerglings, unfortunately, not the best fighting 2-2 bio straight up. Clem has to start his 3-3. So we'll talk about that later. Is this drop just going to be immediately picked up? Not even going to worry about it. Banelings blow up the Widow Mines, and finally the drop in the main does get cleaned up, but there's another one here at the 6th base of Reynor. As 16 drones have gone down. This is actually starting to really be a lot of damage. 83 workers to 83 now, as Clem is just going to push down the hatchery. The lurkers aren't in position. A great kill on the 6th base of Reynor. As +2 missile attacks start up for the lurkers and the Hydras. Snipes going down. And as I said, +3/+3 is a bit late here for Clem. Finally starts up on that, as abducts onto the ghosts. Very nicely done. It's a lot of those ghosts, but the +3 for this bio, I mean, it had to wait because, of course, Clem right now needs to get his ghost count up, and so he's really waiting until he has a decent gas count while also building ghosts to get it. But we have a counterattack here from Reynor. Says, listen, I know your whole army's not across the map, so I'm going to try and see if I can get damage done as well. Lurkers are going to move on forward. The burrow comes out. Most of the Ling Bane does get cleaned up, and there are now ghosts here that can go for the snipes, and they are going to do so. So many of the lurkers falling. And that 6th base does look like it's going to actually get killed. Now, Reynor is sitting at 6,000 minerals in the bank, so he's not really too worried about 300 or so that he has to rebuild. But it is just a little bit annoying. Oh, those Widowmine hits. I mean, Clem is one of the players that has always been so good with Widowmines. I mean, he just constantly spreads them all over the map in awkward positions that you just don't really expect them to be. And you can see there, it's a lot of damage against the Ling force of Reynor. Can rebuild that, though, quite easily and get back to maxed out. But Clem is also maxed out. Clem is sitting at 6 bases right now. 200 of 200 supply, ghosts. I mean, mostly right now working with Ghost Marine Marauder. No tanks, which again is so weird because that's what you see so many Terrans add on to deal with lurkers, to deal with this late game Zerg army, is tanks. It's 2 to 3 factory tank, and Clem just does not do that. Clem says, no, I will not turtle. I will never turtle. But, well, when you have these lurker counterattacks, you kind of wish that you did. Because they're very annoying to deal with. Scans will go down. That lurker will just burrow in time. Clem looking to once again now kill what will be the 7th of Reynor. Cancel, rebuild, and cancel again and the rebuild again. As, okay, lurkers have been placed down to help deal with that. Now it's a frontal push from Clem. 3-3 is finishing up. This is power spike. This is, this is him going Super Saiyan now with this bio. Because when you have the 3-3, you're going to trade so efficiently. If you can kite, if you can split, you can, do all the moves that you need to. This is where you start to really trade well, but has to pick up, can't risk the surround. Does manage to save most of his ghosts. And again, Reynor just being so annoying with this little group of units. He's been able to cancel this base and kill it like 3 to 4 times. It will finally get dealt with before the hatchery goes down, just because the lurkers did enough damage to thin them out. It's still so annoying. Now Reynor is going to look for a counterattack of his own onto the 6th base of the Terran, and well, I don't think there's much that you can really do here as Clem. Lings will just get the full surround. Lurkers add in their DPS, and that all goes down. As Reynor gonna look for another attack now. Going into the 3rd, snipes immediately onto the banelings and the lurkers. Oh, Reynor not watching lurkers just go down. Well, I guess because Reynor's also committing on the other side of the map. He gets 26 workers. He's actually killing orbitals. I guess Reynor doesn't care about losing a few units if he manages to get this much damage done. +3 range attacks on the way for the Zerg. The frontal push here from, oh my, Reynor's all over the place. I mean, Clem, he's trying to make a frontal push here, but Reynor, he's counterattacking at the 3rd. He's counterattacking, at the orbitals in the middle of the map, and he still has enough to defend at home. 37 SCVs have fallen. In total this game, 42 SCVs to 40 drones. Reynor just being such a nuisance. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, the knitting club isn't supposed to be here, but all right. Brenda, we're not supposed to be. As Reynor is trying to roll on into the rest of the Bioforce, but Clem actually gets some decent trades here. Where is the rebuild on the lurkers? There's only 3 lurkers. Clem has not, or Reynor has not rebuilt them. He's currently still just sitting at the 6 bases, which Clem has been able to match now, reestablishing his own 6th at this 9 o'clock position. And Reynor's just working with Ling Bane. I mean, he's pretty much completely cut out the lurkers. He says, listen, I don't think the lurkers are the way to go right now. You have so many ghosts. Currently there's 18 of them on the map. And I think he might be right. I think Clem has just been handling this game beautifully. I mean, even without tanks, even without turtling out, Clem can do this much work. As there he goes, Speed Bros going through some great splits on the workers. But now you have this army moving up. Gonna try and cancel his base right now. Reynor, I mean, against the rope, 145 army supply of Terran. But he does have the Vipers. He has the lurkers. He has rebuilt a few at least, up to 8 now. Reynor needs to be so careful. This base is just forfeit. More lurkers being built. And Reynor doesn't really have time to go for anything else. Any other late game option just doesn't trade as well as these lurkers will. Oh, Reynor at the same time, though. Again, the counterattacks. I mean, this is how Reynor wins games, and it's actually beautiful. See, at the same time, he's committing onto the front. The Banelings onto the Ghosts. Clem not able to pay attention to both places at once. Loses a lot at the front. Still has not been able to deal with the counterattack. Both players' supply dropping drastically. As Reynor trying to do what work he can. Ghost's gonna be able to deal with the lurkers. $70 SCVs. I mean, but look at the efficiency. 31 lurkers have gone down. 655 Zerglings. It's 11k more resources lost in just the minerals alone. 13k counting gas. This base unable to be reestablished because Clem is a Widow Mine there. I think Clem has this. I mean, Reynor, he's trying to do counterattacks with just singular Hydralisks. I don't know if Reynor can do this. I mean, he's going, of course, these lurker burrows are probably the best way to counterattack that you can do. But Reynor just doesn't have money left. Clem has a whole lot of money. EMPs go down, snipes onto the Vipers. There's not a lot of lurkers left. Snipes go down, abducts, are they good enough? I don't think so. Reynor's supply is just dropping Clem. I think he's done it. Once again, Clem showing just how good he is with bio. GG. We're tied up. It's 1-1. Ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom right, of course, from Clash, it is Reynor. And in the bottom left, from Team Liquid, you know him, you love him, it's Clem. Whew, and I mean, Clem, that macro last game, absolutely beautiful. The control. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. It just makes no sense, as we do have what appears to be a 16 pool here coming out from Reynor. We will see if there is gas to accompany it. Looks like so far no. So it's just going to be 16 pool. You're going to be looking for 6 lings, go across the map, slow down that command center, you know. Your regular kind of early game harassment from the Zerg. Reynor going to try and see if you can just slow Clem down a little bit. Especially on a map like Blackburn, that could be very, very important. I mean, this is a map that the attack angles are limited. They're limited. You have really kind of 2 spots that you can attack in from. There's a lot of choke points. There's slow zones. Tanks are very good on this map. So, I do like it. And I love this as well. Just the immediate follow-up into 3 hatcheries. So, Reynor not even wasting time. He's actually not even going to go for the Zerglings. This is really cool. So, Reynor is quite literally going, you know, like 15 hatch, double expand, queen. Because, oh, the mind games. Does Clem scout the main? Oh, Zerglings are going to be out. Dude, the mind games. This is brilliant. This is actually so smart. Just Clem thinks, oh, you went for an early pool. You're going to have 6 slings. They're going to, you know, at least be on the map. And so you're going to try and see what you can do with them. But no, that's not the case. It's 3 hatch. Brilliant. I love this from Reynor. I don't think Clem's really going to, you know, I mean, right now, Clem's not thinking, oh, you know, I need to stop Reynor from getting up a 3 base economy. Yeah. You know, except much more French. You know, Clem isn't going to be thinking that. And so, I mean, Reynor, and he knows that Clem likes to go for 3cc. So he knows that there's not going to be anything that's going to punish him for this early 3rd hatchery. And I really like this. Like, this is so cool. And again, there's nothing that Clem can really do. You have a Reaper out. He went for fast 3rd CC again, of course. You can't do anything. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze very violently. That's why you saw the camera go absolutely wild as, oh, Reaper gets low, but does manage to find its way on out. Whew. You didn't hear that because I muted myself, but those sneezes were aggressive. Like, oh my, kind of threw me for a loop. And once again, we are going to see Clem kind of mix up what he's doing out of the starport. So instead, he is going to be going for the Viking first. This, of course, is to help clear up the vision of the Zerg, where normally if you go for the Banshee, you know, the Overlords are still really allowed to kind of do what they want to scout out. The Viking cleans all that up. You don't really worry about it when you have the Viking. And it also really punishes Reynor for having Overlords across the map. But Reynor's getting a Roach Warren. All right. I'm excited for that. Roach Warren I mean, we could see kind of that like 10 or that, what is it, 9-minute +1/+1 roach timing attack. That's a build that is definitely good on Blackburn. We've seen Rogue do it on Blackburn, definitely, and to great effect. So that could be a very, very interesting build to see. But I mean, already actually 3 roaches in production. So Clem, of course, preparing for whatever this build is going to be. And it does look like it's going to be a Hellbat attack coming out from Clem. So Reynor will have roaches out in time for this. We'll have 3 roaches. We'll have queens. It does look like this is going to be actually maybe Hellbat drop. Looks more likely is what I think we're going to see here. Is Hellbat's dropped in at the edge of the base, morphed on in, and then walked into the mineral line. As there we go, Hellbat morph's going to come on through. Only 2 queens being brought to deal with this so far. The roaches should be walked up. Slow lings, of course, no metabolic boost on them. As no, the queen doesn't survive. Oh my god! I'm sorry. I was gonna be so hopeful. I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer. I didn't want to be negative Nancy. You know, I didn't want to be, you know, sad Sally here and say, oh, it's a Hellbat attack. There's gonna get absolutely crushed because Reynor went roaches. But then it got absolutely crushed because Reynor went roaches. So I'll be a dismal Drew. All right. That's what I'll be. And you do have... sorry, I completely forgot the name of the upgrade. That's the first time I've forgotten. Roach speed is on the way! That's what it is. Glial Reconstitution. There we go. I know my things. Glial Reconstitution is on the way for these roaches. Of course, Clem is taking his own 3rd base with his 1/1. I mean, surprisingly... Not surprisingly. Again, he went for the early Hellbat attack, so you're committing the armory. That's 100 gas. So... the 1/1 is going to be delayed. The issue is when you're going up against Roach Ravager, if you're delaying your 1/1, that means you're going to have 1/1 roaches against 1/1 bio. And usually you want to have an upgrade lead against roaches because your bio needs that to really trade well. If you don't, if Reynor, you know, goes for that, what? I mean, right now it's looking like it would probably be a 10-minute maxed roach attack or 160 roach attack. And you're equal on 1/1, you know, on 1/1 upgrades. That's not good. It's not good at all. It does look like this Overlord. Now there's transfuses. Viking won't get too much more value as it's just going to be constant roach production. Reynor's going to look for this timing attack, and I don't really know what there is for Clem to defend. I mean, he has tank production already, which is good. That's what you need, is the tank production. If you don't have it, well, it's going to be pretty sad. You need the tanks, and these medevacs will actually spot out the roaches, which is also very, very nice here for Clem to spot out the fact that this is going to be a Roach Ravager attack. That's 160 supply, 8 minutes. So I was a minute late in my prediction. I kind of forgot how early this does strike. So Marine's stimming on in here to try and clear up the gold base, but the roaches are going to come on through, force the pickup. You have as well the Hydralisk Den on the way already. So Reynor kind of going with the dark style of the Roach Ravager into Hydra Lurker that Dark has been, I mean, so successful with in the past. Although even Dark has kind of been favoring Ling Bane recently and has looked really, really good with it as well. It looks like Reynor's not going to pull the trigger. Right now, sitting at 88 workers, not going to kind of commit to the attack, although actually getting all these roaches cut out here is, oh, this is massive! Losing all these roaches, Reynor is just not ready. He's going to have to pull the rest of his army to help, you know, save them, but loses so much. Immediately has to build 18 more. Ravagers as well. 3 tanks are out. It's 1/1 bio. Reynor going to commit on in, snipes one of the tanks, just gets on away. Very, very nice move. And these tanks sieging a bit too far forward. Reynor's going to come in on top. I mean, Reynor's approaching maxed out. Clem walked right into his hands. Both players kind of trading over committals and, you know, on either side of the map. And Clem is going to try and take his fourth, but I don't know if you can. This is so many roaches. Oh. Vials. Barely miss. I'm doing a good job dodging them, but the rocks have been cleared up. Reynor, he's going to look for an opening. There's no tanks there. I don't think Reynor knows that. If he did, I feel like he'd just commit on in, because there are absolutely no tanks guarding this base. As you're seeing just how hard it is for roaches to really trade efficiently against Marines and Marauders. These three medevacs going across the map, that just might be the trigger. Yeah, I think Reynor sees those three medevacs, says, okay, I'll just go across the map. I'll just attack in if you're going to be that greedy with that triple medevac drop. And now you have three medevacs onto the main, but lurkers are already here. I mean, Reynor just been teching up so fast behind this, but the lurkers get sniped. On the other side, tanks getting killed, but the roaches just get absolutely shredded by the tanks, even without +1. They do so much damage. Workers falling. Oh, Lurker Den doesn't get focused in time. Clem has to pick up, get out. Okay, I was gonna say that Marine gets cleaned up, right? It does. That's Clem just being so annoying here with these medevacs. Just constantly forcing Reynor to react, because at the same time he's moving out the brunt of his army across the map. What does Reynor have? I mean, 7 lurkers, but most of those are right now stuck in his main and his natural, defending the drop. Oh, okay. Oh, the Lurker Den's gonna go down because he pulled some away. That's big. No more lurkers here for Reynor. It's just gonna be on Roach Ling. And I mean, Hydralisk, but you're not really looking to build a crap ton of Hydras against this army. Clem, I mean, this multi-pronged pressure, so annoying to deal with, but I mean, Reynor, is he gonna commit to anything? No, he's evacuated the gold base. He hasn't really split up his army. Roaches are being aggroed on in, and oh, now those tanks have +1, they deal a whole lot more damage. These Marines are finally, I mean, mostly gonna get cleaned up. There's still 3 left, but 20 workers have gone down. The Lurker Den has fallen. Clem's on 4 bases. Oh, but here's the surround. I mean, it's not even really much of a surround. It's from one angle. Reynor decides this is his time to fight. He's going to manage to get the Corrosive Biles onto the tanks. The lurkers are still alive. Cleans out that position, loses the hatchery. Is struck back down to 4 bases just like his opponent. And these 2 Marines still being possibly the most annoying thing that Reynor has ever dealt with. These two Marines, man, they are getting so much value. This is Big Gabe and the other Marine. Marine King, Marine Lord, there we go. That's who those 2 are. That's Hero Marine and Marine Lord. Just going absolutely massive, getting so much damage, and they're still alive. They can still go back in. Look at them. Look at them. They're getting more drone kills. Clem is playing so well right now. Has ghosts on the way to help deal with the lurkers, but +3 ranged attacks. And this is the power of going for Roach into Hydra Lurker, is that you get super, super quick +3 for those lurkers, and they are going to do so much damage. Just catch in the middle of the map. Clem does manage to pick up in time as, oh, no! Don't let them die! They still have so much long to live. There we go, okay. Good job, Clem. Good job. Oh my. Oh, Reynor doesn't have pneumaticized Carapace. These slow overlords are gonna try and make their way across the map. At the same time, Reynor checking for the gold base is not there. Clem's still right now only on 4 bases. Clem right now is still getting worker kills. These Marines have 14 kills apiece. They're finally gonna fall. But they are heroes of the Dominion. As Clem committing on into the front, there's not enough lurkers here to really help the scans go down. Everything is just gonna fall. Clem, oh, doing so much work here with just this bio army. And Reynor, what do you have? What is your answer? I mean, you don't have +3 yet. Just lost so many lurkers. It's still, I mean, at 11, but where are they? Well, that's where they are. And they're so slow. I mean, if Reynor had pneumaticized Carapace, these overlords would be across the map already. And that would be such a big deal. Because these are taking so long to move across the map. There we go, it's finally done. Look at that. That was so much faster. 8 lurkers are gonna look to go into the main. I mean, you can't really counter this like you can in Nidus Worm. Because the Nidus Worm, you get the, you get the audio cue, you get to see it on your minimap. This, you just gotta react fast. What is there in the main? It's just a missile turret. It's being tanked. Oh, Reynor, here we go. Drop him off, there we go. Lurkers on into the main, on top of the production. This is the move that Reynor needs, but at the same time, Clem is going into the main. Clem is killing the gold base. Reynor's committing across the map. Is it a base trade? It looks just like it. As the lurkers are gonna burrow, lurkers in the main, lurkers at the third, at the fourth. At the same time, Clem is gonna be able to clean house at the natural. Reynor, he's on 4 bases. This is it. This is the hill that he dies on. There's gonna be no reinforcements for Clem though. Anything that he loses is permanent. For Reynor, he can rebuild. You know, he can deal with this counterattack. He can stream lings in. Oh, this is such a good move from Reynor. I don't know if Clem can hold it. Seeing the lurker just move forward. They're gonna try and get towards the 3rd CC now. There's so many lurkers. 20. So many of them in the main. I mean, the production is just dying. So many structures have gone down. There's no production for Clem. I mean, these killer instinct moves from Reynor are just so good. He knows where to strike. He knows when to strike. As the snipes are gonna go down, lurkers are gonna start to fall, but the main base has been ravaged. And sure, Reynor right now is on essentially 1.5 mining bases. But I don't think Reynor cares, because right now Reynor is 40 supply in the lead. He was so far down. It looked like Clem was in a great spot. But now, there is no production for Clem. He has, I mean, the 5 racks that have been flown over here, they're just producing Marines and Marauders. He has the tank. And that is it. Right now it is 6 tanks. Reynor, this, I mean, the moves, just the money moves, the schmovement on this man. He knows what to do. I doubted the slow overlords, but they were the move. And they became fast eventually. They became speedy eventually. And that's all that matters. If this lurker unburrows and immediately gets shot, that would be the funniest thing. We're gonna keep it in our peripheral. We must see if that lurker is in tank range. But Reynor, he's out 50 supply. He's looking to end this in 17 minutes. I don't know if there's much that Clem has. He's still, I mean, there's 6 ghosts alive, but there's more lurkers than there are ghosts. And that's not a situation you want to be in. The tanks have, I mean, the tanks aren't even helping with this fight. The lurkers are just getting free damage, and you can't really rebuild these tech units. The scan is late. And sure, Reynor's supply is low, but it's not as low as Clem's. And this single lurker is going to try, I mean, and see what he can get done. Probably move down into the natural, kill some more workers, you know. Just have a grand old time. The gold base has stopped mining. Clem is mining off half a base. This is all the army that you have. Reynor has more though, doubling the supply. GG, he's up 2-1. This has been a really good series. A very, very good series. I mean, we see Reynor win game 1, macro. Game 2, Clem wins, macro. Game 3, Reynor wins, macro. Every game, 15 minutes plus. I'm excited. Are we gonna see Clem go for a fast 3rd CC? Put your votes in the chat now. Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. Will it be a quick 3rd CC? Will Clem once again commit to the fact that he wants to be greedy and he thinks he can defend every early cheese no matter what? Well, the SCV, it's there. It's waiting. The money is being banked. And for the 8th game in a row that I have cast of him, fast 3rd CC, let's go! Would you expect any less? No. And for any of you that betted that he wouldn't, you don't know Clem? Come on. Always fast 3rd CC. Always. As it's not going to be any 2-base shenanigans here from Reynor. It's a 3rd hatchery, so nothing too crazy going on just yet, as we do have Starport immediately on the way. So it looks like this will probably be the Banshee opener for Clem. It's an opener that he really likes on this map, especially because you have a lot of dead airspace. You know, the same reason why Mutalisks are good on this map. There's a lot of dead airspace, a lot of room to maneuver around. You just kind of do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. We do have 4 more lings on the way from Reynor. More queens. That doesn't look like... Those do just look like safety for the Hellions. Overall, I mean, nothing super crazy. I mean, lings make their way into the natural. They pick off 2 SCVs is actually pretty decent here. Might even get a 3rd. No, the repair comes through. And it is, in fact, a Banshee. A Banshee from Clem. As I said, he does like the Banshee. There's going to be Banshee into Cloak into 2nd Banshee, while just not really spending gas on anything else because you are going for double Hellion. Not the most gas-intensive opening, it does turn out. So right now, Reynor just macroing up on 3 bases. Has quite a few queens already. I mean, he's going to be getting up to 8. And 10 lings on the way. 12 lings, that feels like a lot. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of lings. That's 20 more. Okay. Okay, Reynor, what's the plan? What? Let me hear it. Yeah, just spitball. Come on, Reynor. What are we going for? What are we going for? 20 lings so far have been hidden. We just have the Hellions scouting around, looking for info. Ooh. Okay. Reynor, gonna look for the counter attack. He knows. He understands. Does he actually know? Does he know that it's Banshee? Okay, he does know that it's Banshee. So he has the idea that it's Banshee. That's why he went up to so many queens. Does he have Spore Crawlers? No Spore Crawlers though. Just the queens. I mean, Cloak isn't done just yet. Here we go. Oh, there's nothing at home.